First to play Elise.
Probably pretty happy about that. So here we go. Picks and bans. KT versus Longzhu IM. Game number 2. TF and Callista, the first two bans. I think TF a good ban against Frozen right now. There's a rec size. So I'm sure KT would be happy to get that Elise first pick. And with the Rise ban, you wonder, is it going to be the last ban? Alistar, by the way, falling all the way through the draft last game.
Well, I mean, Annie and Thresh are both very strong champions, too, so it's not too much of a surprise that we might see that one, especially when IM was going more for this engage composition, this all-in, everybody, Nidalee, Maokai, Annie, Echo, all just getting into the enemy team. Now, that'll be an Elise ban. So no Elise first pick for KT Rolster. They may want to try and grab Victor.
I think Victor first pick would be very reasonable. Otherwise, there's a lot of other good stuff. Gragas available, too. There's the Thresh ban. Will it be the Gragas or the Victor? I think that's the two choices. They're going to go with the Victor.
I mean, you could play either Echo or Evelynn here.
Yeah.
So...
Well, Score's played plenty of both, actually, this season.
Yeah,
so.
He's fine on any of these champions. TuSyn can always just go back to Nidalee if they want to give up the Gragas. So there's plenty of choices to be made surrounding the jungle pick. So Victor becomes much more valuable.
TuSyn looked really good on that Nidalee last game, so I don't think it would be a bad pick at all for IM if they can build a little bit stronger of a comp around it. But how do you counter this Victor? Do you go full China and pick the Kassadin?
No, you don't, because you'll get wave cleared and your tower will get destroyed. If you're playing against a top flight Korean team, that is my opinion. I don't think that Kassadin is a good lane matchup on paper, but the reality is your tower gets chipped into oblivion and then Victor gets in your side lanes and your Kassadin and you are still scaling and you can't do anything about it. So I'm not a big fan at the current time. It will be Braum. Braum, the interesting champion that fell all the way through the draft phase, but Maokai Braum, so definitely something new from Incredible Miracle here.
With this, if it is Janna, do you think they might go for a Kog'Maw comp here?
Sure. I'm a bit surprised that KT didn't choose the Kog'Maw in the last game, but again, given what IM showed in the draft, Kog'Maw was not as safe as he normally is. Certainly it would be very safe with the Janna Gragas disruption, as well as the Victor zone control with the gravity field.
Gragas Janna seems pretty reasonable. Although, do you feel like the Janna gives away too much when they've already picked the support? Do you really need to pick the Janna right now?
You pick Corki here, too. It's going to be perfectly fine. Okay. You just go for more of a mid-game push as opposed to waiting a little bit further on that scaling. And we will see Lucian locked in immediately for Roar, blind without seeing the enemy AD carry. And there's the Nidalee coming back, so some nice poke here. Long range.
Well, that is the classic Lucian Braum bully lane, too.
Yep, we could play Varus here or Jace potentially. Of course, we've seen Frozen play a lot of Varus earlier this season. He's going to be less concerned. I mean, Kog'Maw doesn't have a lot of threat here beyond Maokai in teamfights. Nidalee is likely not going to land a spear on him in an actual teamfight situation, so it's mostly about surviving the laning phase.
Well, you see now why that TF was banned, because the comp IM put together would have had a pretty good time with the Twisted Fate.
Yeah, a lot of power there, a lot of ganking potential, I agree with you. So Kog'Maw and Shen, and someday been playing more and more Shen. These teams on the rise, CJ, KT, really prioritizing that pick. And a lot of other teams that haven't been doing so hot have not been focused on the Shen pick. I think we saw that as a major failing of SK Telecoms.
He's going to switch over to Vayne at the last moment for Arrow. And there's the Echo locked in again. So it is going to be another mid-Echo for Frozen.
So Vayne Janna alongside the Shen. So a big protect the Vayne comp. He will have more maneuverability. And okay, from first pick Echo to last pick Echo. I don't know what this is about, Doa. Apparently this is Frozen's answer to a mid-Victor, considering he has made the decision to play Echo after seeing the Victor both times. Yes, I know it was first picked in game 1, but they locked in the Nidalee afterwards, and we know that TuSyn can play jungle Echo, so I think it was a flex pick.
You know, I think he wants to just do what he did last game, build home guards really fast, TP back to the turret, and then run right up onto Victor and try to get a kill after he buys an item and has a little power spike. That I feel like that's got to be the plan.
Well,
maybe.
It does provide a lot of backlane disruption. One thing we can say about a fast Zhonya's Hourglass Echo is that he can just sit in the back line, pop his Zhonyas, and by that time, usually that 4-second timer where his shadow is right there to ult comes back. So he can create a massive zone if he can get into the back line with the home guard. I can see the principle of it, but it does seem very difficult to actually execute.
All right. And so KT looking to get the 2-0 over LZIM. After last game, you'd think it's possible. We'll see if IM can tie it up. It's time to get in the game. And here we go. Welcome once again to Summoner's Rift. Incredible Miracle taking on KT Rolster. And KT, I've said it before, but I'm going to say it again because it's important. If they're able to 2-0 this match, end of their last best of 3 of the season, they will have secured for themselves second place, which is a pretty awesome spot to be considering the gauntlet format of our playoffs this season.
Yeah, those having one fewer best of 5 is absolutely huge. They only have to win 1 to get to the finals, and it's very important for KT to do well in the playoffs as Roy's going to take a ridiculous amount of damage.
Wow, that is a lot.
Now, you know, it's interesting too because there were some subtle Vayne buffs on this patch, 5.14, where her tumble now, I'm sure the Korean casters are talking about this too because they were looking at it. It starts the cooldown after you release your auto attack instead of when it hits. And that may not seem like a big deal. It's just a fraction of a second, clearly. But with Vayne, with some tight timings on tumble and team fights, it can make a difference, that's for sure. And especially when she's kiting or chasing too with her passive like we saw right there. So it does allow you to get maybe an extra auto or 2 in there and just increases your chasing speed, considering you'll have that tumble up a little bit more frequently. So interesting change to that ability.
Oh, we certainly saw it do work just a moment ago. And Nagne, was he able to actually get any of those? He got one.
He got one.
Yeah.
He got 1 and Echo got 2.
All right. So both mid laners getting a tiny little XP boost, but Frozen should be slightly ahead early on, but he's going to get poked out pretty hard.
And KT executing the lane swap. You don't want that Vayne Janna lane in a Braum Lucian lane.
Of course.
Basically, you're just going to get pushed in and have to auto underneath your turret. But what they did was after Arrow went aggressive and started tumbling into the enemy jungle and chunking out the Lucian, they just recalled and went into topside. So a little bit deceptive right there. Seeing the 80 carry on the bottom side of the map and then opting for the switch, so I don't think I have necessarily expected that.
Oh, Frozen going in, trying to do some decent poke to Nagne to deny some CS. Doesn't do a lot. Frozen is ahead early on, though.
Yep.
Here comes Score and Peekaboo coming in to try to harass Tucson at his red buff. They're just going to be able to probably take it.
He got trapped at 2.
Oh, he went back in. There's the exhaust, and Tucson in a lot of trouble here. Can Apple save him? We'll see. One more auto would do it. Tucson barely escapes. That was so close.
Peekaboo attack moved. That's why Tucson didn't die. One of his auto attacks went backwards right there. So a bit of a mistake. Now they're trying to get Apple and Ignar before they can get under the tower, get a little bit of damage down. Arrows here too. Oh,
that's a 4v2 dive.
It's a really hard dive with concussive blows and the twisted advance. So they're not going to do it. Peekaboo messed that up.
Oops.
That was that looked like it was going to be a kill until his auto attack went backwards onto the red buff.
Probably should have been. Yeah, you can kind of get in that habit of auto-attacking when you're trying to orb walk to keep up with somebody, but in a situation like that, yeah, you need to manually target. Oh well.
Yeah, Tucson being very foolish right there, though. I mean, playing on the weak side that aggressively, you just have to learn how to give that red buff up and say screw it, because it's not that important, and it's certainly not worth first blood to do that.
Luckily for him, more summoners burned on the KT side. He only had to use his flash, of course.
Still lost the red buff, still lost a bit of control, but The top laner's doing fine. Apple was able to make it underneath the turret, so not too terribly big of a deal.
Here comes Tucson onto Peekaboo, and IM did switch back up to the 2v2 lane. They wanted to get Braum and Lucian there, of course. Oh, no, never mind. Lucian's on the bottom. They're going to go on to Arrow. Arrow could be in a little bit of trouble. Condemns Ignar away. It's a 3v1. Can Arrow make it? Peekaboo trying to save him. He's going to be okay.
Wow, that last
Lucky.
auto attack not hitting Arrow. Had to use both summoners to get out of that situation. Apple and Ignar also using a whole host of summoners to try and make that play happen. Doesn't work.
Yep. Oh, and it's Operation Camp Nidalee again, but it looks like they're just going to use this to come up and see what's going on by the Krugs, I suppose. They did get spotted by a ward, though.
Yeah, nice ward there. I think it's smart that IM is doing this right now because Score and Peekaboo do love to invade like that. Keeping eyes on them can really change the course of a game. We can see Tucson just happily jungling on the opposite side of the map, but no further ganks will be coming in immediately from Incredible Miracle. Now, they built themselves a slight little gold lead. Of course, Arrow hasn't been able to see us as well in the top lane due to those ganks, and Roar has had a free time of it here in bottom. He's getting some nice damage down on the turret, and someday he didn't get much early. Even though he was there in time for the wave because he spent a lot of time wandering around topside.
Yeah, once again, a strong start for IM, but can they keep it up? I feel like we saw something pretty similar last game where KT had a composition that's going to be very strong in the late game, and IM will be a little bit more powerful now with this Corki, or with the solution rather. But still, you think KT will outscale them, won't they?
Yeah, I think you have to expect that happening again. We have two super tanks, but it's the Victor versus the Echo, and especially Echo. Again, after the AP nerfs, it's not necessarily as strong any longer, and of course, Vayne over Lucian.
Yeah.
A bit of a no-brainer in terms of who's going to be dealing more damage in the late game if they can get there. And KT has such a great composition for protecting Vayne. We see them going back to that Gragas-Vayne synergy. Just go ahead and isolate a target with the explosive cask and then burst them down with the Vayne. It is a pretty easy combo to accomplish. A lot of synergy there.
Very true. IM's doing a good job of zoning Someday out of CS. He's actually not as far behind as I thought he would be. I said that before I looked at the CS. Looked like they were zoning him. They're zoning him right at this particular second anyway.
Yeah, he is obviously having a little bit more trouble. It's mostly the difference between Roar and Arrow that is more troublesome rather than the top laners.
It is a big one.
At least at the moment, especially since Apple has gone for a second Doran's Ring, so he's sunk some gold into early game items, whereas Someday yet to really invest in any kind of itemization at this stage. So probably just waiting to see what's going to happen and not having a lot of time considering he had to TP a little bit late down there. He is only getting his teleport back up right as we speak.
Frozen certainly holding his own in this lane against Nagne in game 2.
Getting some decent time winder damage, but again, it's just, you can throw it out a lot, but it's just not the AP, especially the nerfs to his passive. I think that's what hurt the most, actually, was having significantly less damage off his passive stacks really made his sustained damage in teamfights not what it used to be.
Well, Blue handed over successfully. And we'll see when one of these teams wants to try to take this first dragon. Might be a little while yet.
He keeps on trying to be tricky with this parallel convergence, but it's not really working. But it does allow him to get into the minion line to farm. Nagne always has to walk back away from that objective, and then Frozen has a shield afterward. Just try and farm out this wave. You can see him going for the back line of minions right there. Interesting method of farming. Seems to be working pretty nicely.
Yeah, the mana certainly isn't too high on that parallel convergence. You're not going to starve yourself out too quickly.
Well, especially when you have blue buff, you're pretty much free to do that every time.
It's true. It's true. A little bit of damage onto Roy there as Ignar comes to save him and give him a little bit more tankiness.
Couldn't get the third proc down, but you'll take what you can get.
Yeah. Arrow does have his scimitar so far, or cutlass rather. Similar to scimitar.
It is quite similar. Except the Cutlass is for use on the sea.
Yep, that's right.
Scimitars are, I think, are mostly for horseback or camelback.
Or horseback. Or war lion back. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, they didn't use those actually in the Middle East, I'm pretty sure. Unfortunately, lions can't be trained like that.
Nobody's figured out how to do it yet, you know. We're working on it.
Just like
I'll ride my trained battle lion to the studio soon.
Just like you can't train zebras.
Yeah.
And you can't have horses in sub-Saharan Africa because the tsetse flies kill them.
Oh, bummer.
Do you know that's why zebras are striped?
Why?
Because
of the flies?
Yeah, because of the flies. They can't see the zebras with their compound eyes.
Oh.
So that's why zebras can live in sub-Saharan Africa.
So if you went to sub-Saharan Africa and you wore a Zuba everything,
A Zuba.
you'd be perfectly safe. Zuba pants, Zuba jacket, I guess. I'm sure somebody made those at some point in the 1980s. It's actually the secret, huh?
You'd be safe from tsetse flies. I think there are easier ways to be safe, but maybe that is one of them.
I don't know, man. There's not many easier ways than just putting on specific clothes. I'm not going to try it, though. I'll let you do that. You got this.
Okay, it's my job now
I believe in you.
to experiment with it. Thanks,
That's right. I feel out of the two of us, you could pull off the Zubas a bit better.
Okay.
Take it as a compliment.
I don't know what to say to that. All right.
Well, see, this is what happens when there's not a lot going in the early game. We end up talking about Zubas. And tsetse flies.
That's right.
I feel like sometimes I feel like I already have the sleeping sickness watching some of these games. A few of those flies may have entered the studio.
Oh, it's fine. You'll see the glorious action soon enough, though.
That's right.
These leads starting to get relatively significant for LZIM. 800 gold advantage.
It's not bad because even last game when IM was getting their early kills and things like that, KT still maintained a lead.
Ooh, nice dive.
Yeah, it's diving time. Someday maybe in a little bit of trouble here. Yeah, he's in a lot of trouble here. Nagne doing a ton of damage. Frozen there as well, too, to block the escape. Someday still alive, but first blood does go over to Tucson. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Nagne somehow killed Apple.
Yeah, he came down from below the turret to pick up the kill, so it ended up being a 1-for-1 in that engagement. And Tucson having to flash out as well. So nice roam from Nagne safely through his own jungle to counteract the effects of that dive. Still a first blood advantage over to IN, and someday he went for the full Spirit Visage this game, so it's going to be a while until he's actually relevant against this Lucian, who's quite a bit ahead in the bottom side now that they've returned to the 2v2. And this lane is much stronger when it comes to wave pressure than the Janna Vayne lane, so only a couple more waves and they should be able to get this tower.
Yeah, I mean, Piku was trying to shield it as much as he can, but that turret is going down. So nice little 2K gold lead early on for IM, looking a bit stronger than they did in game number 1.
Someday, it's just going to be such a long time. I don't think you need more than a cloak against the Maokai, and then you can start building into the Sunfire Cape because he's really... Oh, actually, Frozen getting caught a little bit here by Score.
Yeah, there's a Chilling Smite going down as well. Frozen still has his flash, but he's not going to get to use it, and there's another kill for Nagne. And if you're IM right now and you've got this early lead, the very last thing you want to have happen is to get this Victor rolling.
Well, the Victor rolling is what carried KT to victory in the last game. He really ended up doing a massive amount of damage and carrying those team fights, Nagne getting that MVP, and now KT, they have a chance just to go for this dragon. And we see Frozen, he used his teleport to get back to lane earlier. He could have just used Chrono Break for that, and I think it's better because now he could have actually made a play onto the dragon. Well, I guess they're not going to go for it, so that's a moot point. Not actually going to commit to the dragon right there, even though they knew where Tucson was and they got the vision down onto that objective, and Frozen was dead and they knew he didn't have TP. I think they could have done that dragon, but that's all right.
Someday protecting his turret up in top lane. It looks like Arrow's going to get that red buff, and now that you've got that, I wonder if Dragon's going to be the main focus here in the near future. Score needs to go back, of course, but they've got a little bit of time. The warding better for KT at the moment around the Dragon.
Yeah, well, they used the recall timing from the Echo to get that. Nagne going to try for a blue steal here. Now they know he's there. It's going to be blind, not going to work.
Throwing down that death ray a little bit too early. But why not give it a try?
Maybe it wasn't entirely blind. They had a ward around the corner that I didn't see at first. Still not going to be enough damage to actually pull it off. Now, Someday again falling back. KT has to be very careful here because these low wave clear side lanes, they've run relatively low wave clear side lanes both games so far, and they've been punished by losing early turrets.
Turret, and Someday in a lot of trouble yet again. Can he make it out? I'm not quite sure. Throws a ward down, looking for a chance to get back over the wall. There's Score there to protect his top laner, but Someday's still very low. Frozen coming up as well. Nagne is there.
I would not want to fight this Victor right now.
Yeah. Nagne should be able to keep his top laner quite safe.
Now they're still going for it. Score going to knock Apple around.
I guess so, yeah. Score in a little bit of trouble. Apple gets Chilling smited. He's going to flash away. Nagne coming in for the damage. There's a nice slash body slam on the Apple. Can they actually finish him off, though? There's a knockup. They should be able to. Nagne with another kill. Ignar comes in. He's going to pay for it. Score goes down. Big ult from Peekaboo. Will they get them anything, though? Tucson dodges the rest of that Chaos Storm. They're going to get Peekaboo on their way out. That ult was not great for KT. Nagne in a little bit of trouble now. Frozen wants a bit of revenge, and he's going to find it. A double kill for him. Meanwhile, Someday going down, and a huge fight for LGI or LZIM.
Yeah, they take a massive fight right there because they just have... I mean, there was a lot of commitment from KT. We saw them attempt to just chase down the Maokai, but there weren't enough people there to actually deal with it. Flash coming up afterwards. They want to kill Apple immediately, but look how low Someday is. So they get the kill on Apple, but again, great parallel conversions from Frozen to open that one up. Then Peekaboo a bit late on the Monsoon. So they push somebody out, but it's just not going to be enough. Nagne has no mana anymore, and Someday not much of a threat right now, easily kited out by the Nidalee. And again, look at Frozen's placement of the W from Echo. He's been great at that this whole series so far.
IM takes the Dragon on their way out as well, too, so big lead early on. 6,000 gold in 16 minutes. This is the biggest lead we've seen against KT since they, I don't know if we even saw that big of a lead when they played SK Telecom.
This early, I can't recall off the top of my head, but it certainly is a substantial advantage for LCIM. This is something they could snowball with, unlike the last game.
Well, KT really trying to push this mid lane turret hard. Parallel conversions will force them back, though.
And I do find it a bit curious because IM did well when they had low wave clear. When they had the Shen and the Ezreal in the last game, they tried to pick champions that needed to ramp in the early game. And same thing happening here, except IM doing a much better job of dealing with it. KT going to have to hold on for quite some time to get back into this game. The Vayne is 40 CS behind at the moment.
Yeah. They're really going to need like a team fight and get a lot of kills onto Arrow specifically.
Well, they can wait until 6 items. It's definitely an option, especially because the first dragon was only just taken by IM. So we're looking at a really delayed 5th dragon stack. IM needs to turtle their hearts out this game, or KT rather needs to turtle their hearts out this game if they want to have a chance at winning.
Well, it worked last time, although they were ahead in gold the entire time last time, so a very different situation. Still though, Nagne with a great start. Arrow at least hasn't died yet despite being down in CS. Someday, the one I think we're kind of most worried about here is he is a little bit behind in getting that Sunfire Cape. Way behind.
Yeah, that is... I really am not a big fan of Sunday's build. It has helped him in some of these gank situations from Italy. Take a lot less damage. Here we go.
Teleport coming in. They're going to try to jump onto Nagne. He's going to throw that gravity field down. Takes a big culling from the slow, and he nearly just dies. There's the spear from Tucson to finish it. And they just plain old caught Nagne.
Wow, they used 2 TPs right there, one into the bottom side at the same time. So using the double globals, and they managed to get the catches. This is what they wanted to get in the first game. And with that wave clear down, remember, Nagne has to stay alive because he's the only wave clear on this team. And now this tier 2 is going to be extremely difficult, if not impossible, to defend.
Wow, and that's a 50% health taken away from Peekaboo with that spear from Tucson. There goes the turret.
Great
Hero doing
siege
what he
from
can.
IM.
Yeah.
Definitely picking it up. And again, this is a game that KT, if they lose this, they will no longer be guaranteed second place. Of course, that depends a lot on CJ's performance. But
And who knows how that's going to go.
yeah, who does know how that's going to go? But still, this is a very convincing snowball from IM. They're doing a great job of grouping on these towers.
Yeah, IM takes that top third. At least they catch Nagne. Nagne with the Shen shield coming in. They're going to keep him alive for the moment anyway. Still lose their turret, though.
So they traded 2 tier 2s for a tier 1. That is the definition of not worth.
Yeah.
Well,
it's going to be hard even to turtle at this point because of the huge lead that IM has gotten.
yeah, this Victor about the only thing going for him, and Nagne has been caught out a couple of times.
Yep.
So he hasn't had necessarily, he just needed to play defensively. Don't worry about the other team's towers right now. Just keep on sitting under turret, clearing the wave, and letting Arrow and Someday try and
Peekaboo.
farm themselves into relevancy. Hello,
What
Peekaboo.
are you doing? Oh, wow. Execute, execute. Oh, nice. He
Nicely
ulted to
played.
get executed. That was actually really good. Oh, man.
I don't know why he needed those wards, but
That was just style warding, man. I'm going to ward in their base at 20 minutes and then ult to get myself executed by the turret. So he doesn't give up any kills. So I don't want to call that a good play, but it was impressive in certain ways.
certain aspects of it were intriguing.
Some parts of it were respectable. We'll put it that way. Building towards that Magi's? No, probably not.
Actually, probably. He always builds Magi's on John.
Could be going for the what is it called? Frost Queen's Flame. But
I'm pretty sure it's Magi's.
Nobody builds that.
It's Peekaboo.
yeah. And that's the kind of dedication we like to see. Die deep in the enemy side of the map, putting wards down, start building Magi's.
He's a special player.
Yep. Well, when the mid lane Echo has more CS in the vein, things are not going well.
Yeah, it's definitely a very large problem right now. But again, IM, they refined what they did in Game 1. They actually are executing their game plan much better this time around. They have been surprising with the double global. Someday has not answered them to the same degree.
You have to wonder what would have happened, too, if KT had stuck with the Kog'Maw rather than switched to the Vayne at the last second.
Well, still wouldn't have offered the same wave clear. Maybe you get a Sivir in here and you start thinking about doing it better. But then again, Lucian has been shown to punish a lot of these Sivirs in the laning phase. But KT, I don't think they can be this greedy in a lack of side lane wave clear. You pick one low wave clear lane, but when you see that Lucian coming in, and you know the Maokai's in the top, and there's always that possibility of a high wave clear mid, you probably shouldn't go ahead and pick Shen Vayne into it.
Probably not. And Dragon started by IM, and no contest at all from KT.
How can they? They're 7.5K down.
Yep. Make it 8. Near 8. Nagne, too afraid to even farm the rest of those Raptors.
Well, this is a testament to IM, though. They are playing much better this game. I am interested by this mid lane Echo. I'm still not convinced that the early home guard Echo is a good thing, but at the very least, Frozen is playing it well. So he's got that. He's made some nice stun plays. He's been nice and tricky with this champion. Checking out, he's trying to get some sort of play right now. Someday's there, though, and Someday has a whole hell of a lot of magic resistance.
Still no Sunfire Cape, though. All right, I am trying to prep the Baron now. And they're starting the Baron. Tucson and Roar just going for it. KT should know this is happening. Yeah, they have to disengage here, but they have everybody up there anyway. Shen can come up with either his teleport or his ultimate.
Yeah, Frozen is there too. Can just TP right into the fight, so they're using Frozen on this split push instead of the Maokai. Does have some pretty nice dueling capabilities, even though his passive was nerfed. I didn't have Maokai there to actually tank out that damage, so they took a fair amount. Now just going to recall, and Frozen wandering back down with some more AP into the bottom lane. KT holding on for dear life at this point around the Baron.
Yeah, if IM gets this Baron, it's going to be really hard for KT to have any chance of winning this one unless we see the very, very, very late game happen. Credit to IM, they've put themselves in the position to avoid that.
Here we go. Maybe another Baron attempt right now as Maokai rejoins them. IM does not have to be shy about this. They are definitely over-committing to making a pick perhaps around this Baron score. Have to get out of that tri-brush. They do get some nice poke damage onto Arrow, but he's going to heal it up pretty fast with that Blade of the Ruined King. I think they just need to go for it. I don't know what the delay is here from Incredible Miracle.
You know, we're in that situation too where even though IM is ahead as far as who's going to make mistakes in the later stages of the game, it's definitely going to be IM over KT. So if KT can wait out long enough, that's another thing they have on their side. IM just simply might mess up.
And they have the Static Shiv now, and it was a Medjai's onto Peekaboo, as expected. So the Static Shiv is helping them out with their former, I mean, it's still pretty lackluster wave clear, but it certainly is an improvement. And if you are IM, you don't want this game to go longer. You want to just get your lead and take it right now. You have the damage to do the Baron.
Yeah. Yep, certainly got to press it. The question is, can IM do there? There's a knock-up onto Tucson. They're going to go in for the body slam. Tucson gets taken out. Score will be maybe as well, too. Actually lives with the shield. They try to chase Apple to the wall. Chaos Storm chasing. That's right, Arrow flashes ahead. Can he get there, though? Pops that ultimate, gets knocked back, or at least delayed by the Q from Braum. And KT, after taking out Tucson, we'll see what they can get out of this.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to take a Baron right now. They're likely just going to buy themselves more time. But you don't need to just siege that turret right now if you're IM. Just go for the Baron. Just take the Baron. You have every opportunity. You have so many more items. You have a Maokai who can tank it without taking hardly any damage. Tucson getting caught out right there, a big problem.
And another kill onto Nagne. So at least, you know, the one they'll need to carry, Nagne is getting these kills.
Yeah, and as soon as he gets that Void Stab, he's going to be really cutting through. So many members of IM. There's not a lot of magic resist. There's just a Cowl on Apple right now. The Scepter onto Frozen, but he's not going to be probably in a lot of these fights. And you can't get cute here either because Someday could just pop his shield on somebody with his ultimate and then get there right on top of your engage.
That's what we saw happen last fight. Score probably would have died if Someday hadn't used his ultimate. Stand United keeping him alive. Oh, play possibly onto KT as they pull back and played safer around this third dragon coming up.
Big armor now starting to come in from Someday. Finally is working on his Randuin's Omen to help shut down Roar, who is a full item ahead right now of Arrow.
Wow.
That's 70 CS lead, just absolutely massive.
We kind of wonder how much gold Arrow is sitting on, but it must not be enough to pick up anything significant. Otherwise, I think we'd see him going back about now.
I think IM is playing overly cautious because they're afraid. Remember what happened the last time these teams played?
Yep.
KT was down 3 inhibitors at the same time. They had the double super minion waves pouring into their base, and they won a team fight. Nagne turned it around on a LeBlanc and actually won the game in a truly incredible comeback. This is a team that you can never really count out because they find ways to win, it seems, this season where you'd think it would be nearly impossible, just like they did in the Coup Tigers game.
If nothing else, they've got the opportunity to have this like ridiculous damage in the late game.
Well, they know that too, so KT just buying as much time as they possibly can.
They're trying. Meanwhile, they're going to give him third dragon, I guess, to IM. Threatening Baron without really much follow-up. So that was unfortunate for KT.
Yeah, they just wanted to clear some of the vision around there, but not contesting that third dragon means we are on our way to about a 41-minute 5th dragon, and KT have to think pretty hard about whether they want to fight that or not. Arrow just so starved out of gold this game, trying to farm up. We saw this versus Ku, though, where his Kog'Maw was very far behind.
I don't know. You watch this, and then KT is kind of just one of those teams where it's like, well, if they get a good fight and Arrow gets 4 kills, then suddenly it's a brand new game, you know?
It certainly is. He's getting closer to that last Whisper, too, which will be very helpful now that Frozen and Apple, who do have a little bit more armor on their side, still needs a little bit more farm before he's able to think about that. KT's warding around the upper river remains excellent. They are well aware of any activities regarding the Baron that could be taking place.
Yeah. And IM has been a good team in the early game, but they've still lacked in terms of closing things out.
Well, you can see, I think that there wasn't a need to be quite so sheepish about going for the Baron. You have the Nidalee heal. She's got a ton of AP right now. You can't just have Apple there tanking it out and then TP in from behind with the Echo.
Yep. Which you would assume is kind of what they were planning on doing, so it's odd that they're not doing it.
You take TP Echo, you better know how to properly split push with teleport.
You'd think so.
Slowly trying to clear this out right now, but there's so many wards surrounding the Baron. It's very obvious whenever IM actually goes into the brush or isn't taking it. They need to bait by going directly into the pit itself.
Are we going to maybe see a play here under Roar? KT members were hiding in that jungle. Oh, not anymore. Backing off to the blue buff pit. Or alcove, I guess. Cubicle. The blue buff cubicle.
It's where he goes to work every day.
That's right.
I guess 9 to 5.
The wolves always make so much noise, though, man. They're like always howling, trying to work.
He doesn't do much work. He mostly just stands there and dies.
I could draw some very depressing comparisons between that and corporate work, but I won't. I won't do that.
I've been there too, man.
I think we all have at one point. KT just trying to protect their jungle for now. IM getting a lot of wards down. KT slowly being pushed back. IM is playing this pretty methodically.
As long as they actually go for an objective. That is the main asterisk that we're seeing right now. They're trying to get it while Nagne is in the mid lane. Nagne coming back down for this wave, though. Oh, maybe a little bit too late. They're going to get some decent damage down. Nagne coming through the flank. They got some damage down onto a tier 2, but that's it. I don't know about this. IM just needs to...
Well, they're just kind of milling about. You know, they do seem very afraid. They do seem very passive.
Just go for the Baron.
Well, we'll see. There's a spear on the score. I think they want to take this turret first.
But
it's going to be hard.
There's no minion wave there. At the very least, Score and Arrow have sufficient wave clear at the moment. They're finally starting to ping around the Baron itself. Looks like this might be the push.
Roar's 110 CS up onto Arrow. And yeah, there goes the Baron. KT getting closer, but this Baron's dying so fast, they're not going to get there in time. Scrying Orb used. There's the Baron taken by IM. Will KT fight this? Teleport canceled by Shen.
Yeah, he was thinking about coming in on that one, but after it was down, better just to take the tier 1 and get that gold. But that could have been done by IM like 5 minutes ago. Absolutely fine. Now they get it. Now they can really start to take a look at this lead right now. They're going to send Echo back into the side wave to counteract the split pushing from Someday. But they don't really have a lot of control over this wave right now. Someday going to have to run away.
They've got to lead in every conceivable way. If that whirlwind had hit Roar, maybe they could have done something, but it looks like they're just going to lose their tier 2 here. Wow, Peekaboo. Oh, just straight up taken out with the culling, and Roar or Arrow has to burn that summoner heal just to escape. And does he even escape? Flash ult misses everyone for Ignar. Score trying to get nice. Whoa, they're just diving into the turret and dying to AoE. I answered your question, and there we go. Arrow with a kill, Nagne with a kill. Another one comes in, a double for Nagne. That is how you throw with Baron, or not. Frozen coming in, gets out with his ultimate, but KT still looking pretty strong as they chase here.
I cannot believe they went in like that. They positioned themselves next to the wall for a gravity field and
Yes,
condemned
they did.
Chaos Storm combo that absolutely shredded 3 members of their team. You cannot disrespect the Victor damage. He is the only one who's actually doing okay in this game.
Well, Arrow's going to be able to get his red buff too. Tucson can't fight him 1v1. Maybe we can see him try to steal it. Yeah, with Echo around, Arrow's being very careful about this. Peekaboo back up though.
What? Tucson.
Ooh, that's a lot of damage.
Yeah, the Peekaboo does a lot of damage, but you're not going to get this one out. Does take Arrow down to about 50% HP.
That red buff is big though to have on that Vayne
Yep.
and to not have on that Nidalee.
Wow, Roar putting himself in an absolutely horrible position.
This really is the trump card though for KT, is that they can count on IM probably making mistakes like that.
I mean, it's still a huge, enormous, scary, scary deficit.
Of course, they're still 8k down, 7k down I guess now. Dragon be taken, and 4th Dragon would be very, very big. KT though, they have everybody up to fight it. They've got Shen's ultimate as well too. I am trying to turn this around. Have they caught Arrow? They get him with the Q. It could be dangerous. Apple coming from the flank. There's the culling. Shen tries ult him, but he dies way too fast, and they take out Arrow almost immediately. Big knockup onto IM. Everyone pushed back. Trying to make a kill here, but Roar gets the double, scoring a lot of trouble. Flashes after being slowed. And I don't think he's making it out of this one. Nope, Ignar picks one up with the Q, and that should be about it. I don't think you're coming back if you're KT after that.
No, and an unfortunate final team fight. Score and Nagne messed it up. Basically, Nagne dropped his combo, and then Score ulted everyone out of the Chaos Storm.
Yep.
So, not a lot of synergy right there. They misplay it.
And just like that, KT will be fighting it out to the very end for that second place spot. They can't secure it anymore as the ace gets finished up and IM takes the game. There goes Arrow coming up in 1 second, but it's 1 second too late. GG, and IM ties up the series.
Yeah, and they played out that teleport Echo significantly better in that second game. But I do see it more as that last pick champion rather than a first pick. They didn't have to give up quite so much for it. And a solid win. They used their advantages in terms of wave clear in the side lanes much better to get down the outer rings of turrets and to start snowballing that advantage. Maybe they didn't close it out as quickly as they could, but some mistakes by KT too. And like you're saying now, they are reliant on CJ's performance to seal up that second seed. It's no longer guaranteed if they go 4-0. Now we have to see how CJ does in their remaining matches.
Oh, either way, KT